You think I'm going to let you get away with that crap every day? No, sir. I'm not. I'm going to call the police on you, and if they don't do something about it, if something happens and you hit one of my neighbor's kids or one of my children and you continue to race that car up and down the street, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And if somebody doesn't shoot you or your car up, guess what? I'm going to. You're not gonna do whatever you want to around me and my children. Okay? Because I'm a mother and I'm going to protect my family. And that's what this is. We created the police to make sure you're not speeding up and down my neighborhood streets. I don't care if you think you own your car or not. Okay? That's a public street. That's the equivalent of walking through a public market and waving a pistol around. You want to walk through a public market and wave a pistol around with children running around everywhere? Do you think that's appropriate behavior? Or do you think that you should, I don't care if you own your pistol, I don't care if you built it with your own 2 hands. If you walk through a public market waving a pistol around my children, I'm likely to take you out.
Isn't it also true that the state owns the MCO or MSO, which is called the
manufacturer certificate of origin? Yeah, in California, they made it illegal to obtain the manufacturer certificate of origin, and because if you had the certificate of origin, you had complete ownership of your car. Okay, so maybe you do have complete ownership of your car. Doesn't matter. If you go racing up and down my street every day, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. Does that make sense to you? If the police, all right, say there's the chief of police, right? And he's really corrupt and he rapes my daughter, okay? Just for an example, say this happened. He rapes my daughter and he's a contract law expert and he pays the bill. He sets it off. He doesn't spend more than 3 days in jail because he knows contract law. Guess what? I don't give a damn if he knows contract law. It's called common law. I'm still going to shoot the chomo. You see what I'm saying? Like, they can set their debts off all they want. If they're a rapist and a murderer and a child molester, they deserve to be shot by whoever they offended. And that's just how we regulate ourselves. If they have the ability to fall through the sieve of holes that is in our law, our legal system, which is the same holes I fell through when they couldn't hold me for more than 3 days. Other people find that same remedy who don't deserve it because they did hurt somebody's child. Then the people whose child they hurt have every right to shoot that person. And when they go into court and the judge says, you shot this person, they say, damn straight I did. They molested my daughter or raped my daughter, and then they weren't charged or they weren't held. What do you expect me to do? Yeah, I'm gonna shoot the person? Like, come on.
Why don't we shift and say, what if there's no injured party like with you? Why don't you get into your story? You had marijuana. Obviously, there's
no injured party. No injured party.
So why don't we explain what you did, how it all works, and how they I remember I called you and you were, you thought you were going to jail, and I called you and you said you went on your knees and said a prayer the day before for something to help you, and I happened to call you at the right time after we hadn't talked for like 6 months or a year. And why don't you get into that and explain, that whole journey and how that works?
Okay, there's a lot of background to that. I had been studying sovereignty, really, patriotic law, and I thought that the government was so bad, and they've got concentration camps all over that they're forcing people into, and blah, blah, blah. And I went to, I was, like you said, I didn't think that stuff was going to find me any remedy because I had just lost a jury trial. And where I was innocent, and it was on video that I was innocent. And it doesn't matter, man, if you're innocent or not, and if you got proof that you're innocent. If you did it, by golly, you did it. If they said you did it, if the government or the police said you did it, you did it. Don't argue with Big Brother. Don't argue with the man. Just accept that they said you did it, right? So I had to have a paradigm shift. This is the most difficult part for people, and it was the most difficult part for me. I argued with Gordon for the first 3 days I was there. I'm paying him thousands of dollars to argue with him, right? About how bad the government is, because I just can't accept that they really are there to help us, and if we didn't get our remedy, we did something wrong, and all they're trying to do is get us our remedy and help us get through this. And, you know, it really was when I started to realize that he was right. That the government isn't a big bully. It's, you know, your big brother that does want to help you. Yeah, he might molest your daughter when you're not looking, but ultimately he does want to help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna abuse their rights when they have the chance, if you allow them to. Okay? If you don't fucking constantly watch them and have that gun on them and bam, 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 you need to quit violating my right to contract and be on it constantly, they're going to do whatever they want to. And that's why I said, yeah, they're going to take the guy's car and impound it. And they should. Okay? It is their job to lie, cheat, and steal to protect the public. You know, if somebody's got a gun to my child's head and the guy's saying, oh God, I just can't go to jail again. I don't ever want to go to jail again. And the cop's saying, it's okay. Put the gun down. We're going to go have pizza and beer. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure you don't go to jail. Just put the gun down and everything's going to be okay. Yeah, that cop needs to lie and say whatever he needs to say to get that guy to put the gun down and release the child. Okay? And it's the same thing. They're going to lie, cheat, and steal to protect the public. It's their job.
Crystal, I guess there came a point in time when you had gotten caught with some marijuana and you were actually arrested and so forth?
Right. So they served me with a search warrant on my property in Fresno where I have medical marijuana, and I was caught in Tennessee. So they came with the warrant, and I conditionally accepted their offer, and I asked for the original, I conditionally accepted their offer that, I don't know, what did they say? They came and they produced the warrant and they asked for me. So I conditionally accepted their offer that I was Crystal Mullins upon presentation of the charging instrument. They brought out the charging instrument and they handcuffed me, so I wasn't able to inspect it. Inspect to me means touch, hold, feel. And they took me in. I conditionally accepted my way the whole way into jail. And they showed me another charging instrument when I wasn't handcuffed, and they said, this is good as the original. So I put my banker's acceptance on there, which is basically just a few words that say, hey, I'm accepting this for value, I'm returning it for value, for set-off, settlement, and closure of this debt. So you would write across the top in a 90-degree angle, accepted for value, returned for value, for set-off, settlement, and closure, charged to the United States Department of Treasury. Your all capital name, your social security number, and your lowercase name, your social security number with dashes, a signature, and a date, and exempt from